everybody.
Hi, friends. Well, from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah.
It's Thank God I'm Atheist,
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up on our show today, we're going to be talking about Ketanji Brown Jackson's hearing in front of
yes.
the Senate Committee, Judicial Committee, and the performance, and it was a performance of one Senator Lindsey Graham.
So you know what? The performance thing is right, because all of this is literally like they toss around the term political theater, which this undoubtedly is. Yeah. But the thing about political theater is that all the actors are bad. It's bad theater. You don't want to go to that. I'm sad that my tax dollars inherently pay for it.
Yeah, and the same people who refuse to fund the arts.
Right?
And that'll be coming up on the second half of the show. But first, Dan, we got some stories. Some things happened this week we need to share and talk about. I want to start with a bit of news that happened a couple weeks ago that caught my attention when it happened, which is the incredibly fast way that the Senate, the U.S. Senate, passed a bill which they have called the Sunshine Protection Act, which would permanently fix the United States in what is currently called daylight saving time.
Right.
But it would just be time, I guess.
Yes. We would just stop idiotically changing our clocks
back and forth.
Twice a year.
Heart attack inducing. Did you know that there are like statistically more heart attacks and automobile accidents in the few days after the change? It's bad for us. It's bad for our health. And for years, they've been talking about, doing away with the change. Yeah. And they finally have settled in on daylight saving time being not. So basically summertime instead of the winter time. But what this does...
More light in the PM and less in the AM.
Exactly. Well, a surprising to me, maybe to you too, group has come forward in fierce opposition to this development, saying that they were blindsided, which is Jews, American Jews.
Oh,
and
really?
Let me tell you, that headline caught my attention because I was like, how? Why? Why? Apparently,
you guys have been around for a long time. You know that for most of that time, you were fine with just one time.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it has to do with how in the winter, if this does officially pass Congress, our mornings are going to be dark. Like they're just going to be really dark. The sun's not going to come up for a while. Our days are going to be started. We're going to be at work or at school or whatever, and it's still going to be dark outside.
Oh, I'm seeing where this is going because they really care about sun up and sundown.
Well, yes, as specifically because there is a communal prayer ritual or prayer service called the Shacharit. The Shacharit, maybe, that is performed
the Eucharist,
which is performed in the morning, and it has to be performed after the sun comes up. And Jewish communities and families that practice this would do it before work and before school. Right. And this is a religious, like they feel required to do this, right?
Sure.
And so they are starting to form they're trying to organize very quickly in opposition to this. They're going to ruin it for all of it, for the rest of us. They're going
to ruin it for everybody.
Because this is the one I've been wanting. Like I was always nervous about the, doing away with the time change because I figured they would settle in on standard time. And I'm like, that's just going to ruin summer, right?
Yeah.
Like, instead of it getting dark in the middle of, like right around the summer solstice here in Utah, after 9, right? That would be like a little like after 8-ish with a little bit of light in the sky still around 9. And that just fucks over summer.
Winter already sucks. It's not. You're not going to make winter any worse,
right?
But you can ruin summer.
Yeah, and so this
hashtag hot girl summer.
Anyway, did you know that Marco Rubio is the big force behind this? That this was his bill, and he is against the time change firmly, and he says that daylight saving time, that permanently ending the time change would reduce car accidents, robberies, and seasonal depression, and by keeping it on summertime and light in the evening, promote physical fitness. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that.
I doubt that. I don't care one way or the other. It's a stupid practice that we've been doing for a long time for no good reason. So I'm glad that they're ending it. And
you're telling me you wouldn't automatically be more physically fit, Dan, if we just did away with time change?
What am I going to go out and
exercise
it?
Go on a hike. Go on a hike, Dan.
Night hike.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is a thing, everybody. There is religious opposition to this. This is a good thing that finally this is happening. Yeah. Maybe you don't agree with me. Maybe you love the time change. And maybe you think it should always be on standard time. I don't know. But please, 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 please contact your congressperson, member of Congress, and say that you support this, please.
Even if you don't.
I mean, because this is such a, where's the political downside, right? Or upside in this? This should be totally bipartisan, which clearly has been up till now. And so, even if you have some dipshit, member of Congress that represents you, who you hate because I've got, this is something they might vote for.
Yeah, you're just anti-Semitic is what you are, Frank.
Hardly. But I have to say, I don't care about Jewish prayers equally as much as I don't care about anybody else's prayers.
Right. Exactly.
I just don't care about prayers, period. Right. Sorry.
And guess what? You guys can figure it out.
They can totally figure it out, because you're telling me
at work when you have to do your prayer, just go into the third stall in the bathroom and do your prayer, or whatever you got to do.
Some Jewish community in Sweden or Alaska has figured this out, right? There is a real solution here. Just find it. It's not ruining it for the rest of us. That is not the solution.
Also, don't base all of your practices on the group that was in the Middle East and when sunrise and sunset were consistent.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Don't base your practices on that. Find some new ones. You're in a different latitude now. All right. Well, I am going to just talk about a study that has just come out. Pew, our friends at Pew have done a survey of over 10,000 U.S. adults.
Oh, wow.
Here's the thing. They've been tracking since the pandemic. They've been tracking who's going to church, who's watching it on Zoom, whatever. Well, a lot of congregations have started to reopen. Even the ones that were closed are reopening now. It may be premature. There's there are variants all left and right. Although it feels like, I don't know. What do you think? Is it winding down, or are we on the wind down now of pandemic worry?
I have been totally in the I'm sorry, what pandemic category for a while now.
You have been. You got there way before I did. Do we even know what the scientists think anymore, or have the politicians just taken over now? I don't even think the scientists are allowed to talk anymore. Anyway, here's the thing. Before the pandemic, apparently roughly 67% of U.S. adults attended church in person. That seems high to me.
What percentage? Wait, say that again.
67 before the pandemic.
Attended regularly. Yeah. Once a month. Is that regular?
Yeah, so I guess the question that they asked on this survey was, have you attended services in person this month? So yeah, let's just say once a month.
Okay.
60, but the pre-pandemic normal was 67%. So like back in at the height of the thing, the numbers were really low. Do you want to take a guess at what percentage of U.S. adults said that responded that they had been to in-person church just this last week
During the pandemic?
No, in the past month.
Oh, literally this past month.
They were asked last week, and they were asked how many, and so this is how many people in the past month. So we're thinking like early February to early March.
30%.
You're close.
Really?
27.
Wow. Okay.
So
that is
nowhere near pre-pandemic.
And I question whether those numbers are ever going to get back up to pre-pandemic, because people
they're never getting back up to pre-pandemic. Are you kidding me?
Lives, they've looked around and they're like, wait, this is what life is like without going to stupid church?
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Literally, like the whole country was already like the trend line was everybody's fallen away from their church. Everybody's stopping going to church. Like that's what the trend line was already doing.
Right.
But then God decided to step in and say, try it. Try life without church for a while. See what you think.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow. That makes me so happy. But of course, this hasn't really, affected belief in God. This is just church attendance.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know like what belief in God is doing, but yeah, in terms of church attendance, it's that. I mean,
well, and my general sense of this whole thing, totally based on nothing, just my own sense of it, is that there historically were probably a lot of that. What'd you say, 67% or whatever, that high number? That there was a big chunk of those people that probably really didn't believe in God that much. They didn't have any really strong feelings about God. They just socially, it's what they always had done.
Yeah, they dutifully go to the thing that they're supposed to go to.
And now they haven't been. Their lives have not fallen apart. They've discovered that they actually have more time for their families, probably.
Yeah. They actually enjoy their Sundays.
They enjoy their Sundays. They get chores taken care of, errands run, and they realize, oh, wait, I really don't need this stupid thing. Also, I'm not around all those asshole judgmental people, right? I feel better about myself.
Pastor doesn't make me feel bad every week.
Like this, why would I ever go back?
Literally, there's no downside here.
Yeah.
I'm never going to church again.
Right. And so a lot of those people, though, maybe maybe they didn't realize that they were atheists at the time, but I think some of them are going to make their way over to our side.
Welcome, all of you new listeners.
Please. I hope if you were listening to this show and you were attending church just 2 years ago, before the pandemic, and you've made your way over to doubt and questioning and not believing in God and all that stuff, please let us know.
Yeah, right into it.
I must know if you're out there.
We want your story. We want to hear it.
All right. Well, I also have a little bit of a survey and some trend lines in America, Dan, that I want to talk about.
That's going to be our spin-off podcast. Trend lines in America.
Riveting stuff. This has to do with Mormons, or should I say members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, as
you should not,
as their top brass wants them to be called, but the Mormons, and what is a shocking level of support for LGBTQ rights in America. Essentially, they have numbers from 2015 and 2021.
Yeah.
And support for non-discrimination protections for the LGBTQ community Amongst all Americans back in 2015, 71% of Americans supported non-discrimination protections.
Okay.
Amongst the LDS in America, 72%. Okay, so statistically, a little bit of a tie there, right? They're right in line with Americans broadly.
That's back in 2015. That's what you said?
So 6 years later, so last year, all of Americans, that number had risen to 79%. And
that's a good number.
That's a great number. Mormons are up to 84%.
Fuck off.
No, I will not. They're tracking almost as the fastest increase amongst any religious group in America. The only ones that beat them out were non-Hispanic Catholics of color.
Wow, that is a hell of a category right there. Damn.
Yeah.
So all 7 of them have gone up. Like one of them changed their mind.
And it, skyrocketed their numbers. Hindus rapidly increasing their support. Black Protestants and
Hindus in America.
Hindus in
not
America.
Hindus in
Correct.
India.
Yeah. Black Protestants and other Protestants of color surpassed those numbers, which is awesome, of course, but Mormons are quickly coming around on the issue. I mean, coming around. They've come around.
Tell their leadership, because
I know
they don't seem to know.
Now, this is not support for gay marriage. This is not support for whatever else, but non-discrimination protections. I believe they're talking specifically about housing protection, workplace protections, that sort of thing.
Who is at the bottom of the barrel? I mean,
the article is specifically about Mormons, and it doesn't get into who sucked the most.
Who was at the bottom of the barrel? Do you know?
Actually, I do, Diane. The Jehovah's Witnesses who, but get this, Dan, just in 2015, we're at 51% supporting.
What? That's actually really high.
I know, right? It's a little surprising. They're up to 59% now. So
literally, if you heard American politicians talk, to hear the right wing of American politicians talk, there is no support for gay protections. In this country.
It's why they're beating the drum so hard right now. And the fact of the matter is, evangelicals control the Republican Party, right? And there are a lot of people who vote Republican who obviously, I mean, just by these numbers, there have to be a lot of them that are actually supportive of gay rights in America.
Yeah.
However,
over 60%. If Jehovah's Witnesses are at the bottom at 59%.
Oh, no.
It means 60% of Americans, well over 60% of all Americans, including the most
we have
conservative.
We have that number. It's 79% of all Americans support non-discrimination rights for the LGBT or protections for the LGBTQ community.
Why is anybody even talking about this? This is slam dunk easy.
I know, but those asshats control the Republican Party.
Yeah.
And so it's this total
and the worst of the
thing.
asshats.
Yeah, I know. And so this really, really like vocal minority, a truly vocal minority, is potentially risking rights and protections that 80% of the country supports.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. We
can't.
Hello, American
This is why we can't
politics.
have nice things, America.
Yeah. But this is also the lopsided nature of how the system is, how much it favors conservatives. Right?
Well, and it also points out that like what Americans consider just sort of standard right wing is actually like radical right wing.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy, like especially by the world standards. Like our most radical liberals are center at best.
Oh well.
And our right wing is off the charts.
Yeah, no.
All right. Well, speaking of off the charts lunatics, have you heard of Hillsong Church?
Yeah.
If you haven't, then you have not been following Justin Bieber's career the way I have, my friend.
Oh, you're a big Bieber fan?
I'm a believer.
I'm
friend.
sure you are. Yeah.
Me and Anna Frank. Anyway, Hillsong Church was started in Australia. It is an Australian-based global church.
Screw you, Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought all this was our stuff. You're sending it over here?
Oh my God.
We're all full up. We don't need it.
They have an average global attendance of 150,000 people.
Good.
So
God.
For a non-denominational, I think they're Pentecostal or whatever, but
Yeah.
that's a pretty mega church if you ask me.
Yeah.
It was founded by a guy named Brian Houston. Sorry, Frank was his father. We'll get to that. Brian Houston and his wife founded it in Sydney. I think it's Sydney, in Australia. Anyway, here's the thing. There has been scandal recently. There have been trial. Hillsong lost their big. They had I think it was their guy in New York got canned for inappropriate behavior or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That was moral failures, I think is what it was. And then and so they've had a bunch of things. And then recently, Brian Houston himself, the founder, was charged with criminal charges because it was revealed that he had found out back, I think in 1999, he found out that his dad, who was also a pastor, had molested a boy.
Oh,
something along those lines. And the thing is, if you find out that someone molested someone, you got to tell.
You have to.
And he never told. So he's facing criminal charges about that. His dad died 4 years later or something, 5.
Wow.
So his dad is dead, and apparently had a deathbed confession about this whole thing too. So that's a thing. But so he's under criminal investigation currently. But also there have been some things have come to light. Some text messages that he sent to a staffer that were of an inappropriate nature.
Okay.
I don't believe what one of their people said, that his texts were something to the effect of, quote, "If I was with you, I'd like to kiss and cuddle you."
Oh.
That is not what those texts said.
But I don't like that either.
No, that's not good either. And the big thing is that of course he's married, and so this is all rank hypocrisy on his part. Yeah, so that plus another time incident that is described in multiple articles that I read as him having, quote, been in a woman's hotel room.
Oh, really?
They claim that he, and both of these incidents, the church claims he was on some sort of like sleeping pill and was wonkadoo, his brain was addled because of sleeping pills.
So he gets a little rapey when he
gets just a bit. A little molested, a little, harassy.
Most people sleep eat or drive away in their car asleep when on Ambien. He wanders into women's hotel rooms.
Yeah,
and gets a little touchy feely.
Yeah.
Ew.
So anyway, it was unclear what was going to happen. Well, he has resigned.
Oh, good. Okay.
So
yeah.
So yes, he's no longer the head of. I feel like Hillsong. I don't want to hear that song. Get off the hill, and stop singing. You're done. They're not done. They're not going to be. There's too much money to be made.
I need Valley Silent. That's what I need.
Right? Let's have some Valley quiet.
Valley
please.
mute. Valley mute. All right. Well, here's a name I had hoped to never hear again. Kim Davis. Remember Kim Davis?
I do remember Kim Davis.
Let's see. She was
a county clerk.
Yeah, Rowan County clerk. She got famous for denying marriage licenses to some gay couples. This was after the Supreme Court, right, said
yes,
gay marriage for everyone, right?
Right. Yeah.
And it was a big moment, and people were running out to get married because now they could.
She took a stand for Jesus,
and she denied them the marriage licenses, and it was this huge media circus, right?
Yeah.
If you were aware of life and things 7 years ago, it was only 7 years ago, Dan. It feels like a long time ago.
Yeah,
it feels like
it feels both like a long time ago and yesterday.
It feels like at least 2 pandemics ago, but
but it was only one. Anyway,
yeah. So there have been a couple of couples, David Immold and David Moore, the Daves. And James Yates and Will Smith. I bet he doesn't he hasn't tired of his name yet.
Nobody makes comments about that one.
But they have filed a lawsuit in federal court suing her for discrimination, right?
It feels late.
For their constitutional rights having been violated. Which
Did
is
they just file it?
No. There's a decision now.
Oh, good. Oh, thank God. It still feels late.
So the judge issued a summary judgment, meaning it's not going. The judge feels fine just saying this doesn't need to go through any kind of like trial process.
We don't need a media circus. We don't even need a trial.
Yes.
I just know.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It is obvious she violated your constitutional rights. Nobody needs to have a trial about this.
Correct.
But there's another part of the lawsuit where has to do with like the damages and all of that kind of stuff. All of that will be going likely in front of a jury. And so, but like compensatory and punitive damages, pre and post judgment interest and cost and attorney fees are what the plaintiffs are suing for.
Yeah.
And
is this just her personally, or is the county on the hook?
No, this is her. This is her.
Oh.
She is
in the deep pockets of a county clerk.
She is in trouble.
You guys are suing the wrong people here.
I believe it's just her. Because everything in the article is just talking about her. Well, she probably had insurance. Right.
Oh,
everybody has insurance for everything. Right. Hopefully she had some sort of insurance, and the insurance.
Hopefully she didn't. Hopefully every paycheck that she makes for the rest of her life is just garnished.
Anyway, Liberty Counsel, you know them. They're the right wing, or they like to think of themselves as the right wing ACLU. They're not, but that's what they think.
The Americans against civil liberties.
Exactly. They are representing her and everything. They say Kim Davis is entitled to protection, to an accommodation based on her sincere religious belief. This case raises serious First Amendment free exercise of religion claims and has a high potential of reaching the Supreme Court, which of course is terrifying. But
it's a bad Supreme Court right now. Slow roll that decision there, Judge. We need to make some adjustments.
Clarence
we gotta
Thomas
see what
needs
happens
to die.
With Thomas first. All right. Well, I'm going to take us to Italy now.
Yeah.
In a small southern city of Bari. Do you know Bari?
Bari, yeah.
Bari. I'm going to say Bari.
Bari. I like Bari, Italy. I'm from
Bari, Italy.
I'm from Bari, Italy.
I'm Italian. Anyway, there in Bari is the Basilica of St. Nicholas.
Oh,
Now,
really?
I don't know if you know of. Have you ever heard of one Saint Nicholas?
Once or twice.
This is Santa Claus, you guys. I don't know if it's that Saint Nicholas. Anyway, Saint Nicholas has a basilica there in Bari, and there has been a break-in.
No.
Now, this is an especially interesting one because Saint Nicholas is revered not only by the Catholics but by the Orthodox Christians.
Oh, really?
Because he's Turkish, I think, in his origin.
Oh.
The saint is.
Okay.
But theoretically, his remains were transported to Italy.
Okay.
So, the break-in, whoever this cunning thief was, he made off with a book that was that the statue of Saint Nicholas was holding.
Oh no!
In one of his hands. And a gold ring off of the finger of the statue, which I feel like the church needs to learn. You don't have to put real gold on the statues. They're just statues.
Well, you can also just get like one of those like little, like you could get a chain or something, right? Like,
yeah,
like you could protect it somehow, right? Put it behind glass.
It was behind glass.
Oh,
but the thief managed to bypass it. He
wow.
very kindly didn't break anything.
He
just managed to open the glass enclosure and take the stuff, and also take some money that people had donated or whatever.
Oh my God, what is this, like the Pink Panther? Like what's?
Yeah, I mean it's a gold ring. It's not going to be worth that much, but. The church is saying, well, he won't be able to do much with it because it's well cataloged and we know exactly what it looks like, so he won't be able to sell it without exposing himself. To which I say, have you met gold? Do you know that that's just a metal that can be melted?
Oh no, but its real value is its sentimental value.
It is. It's true. Do you remember there was an SNL sketch probably back in the 90s where there was it was a pawn shop, but they paid full sentimental value?
No, I don't. No, that sounds like a fairly obscure.
I'm the only one that remembers that one. But
who was in it? Do you tell me?
I think I'm picturing Phil Hartman. I don't know.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, I can see that. All right.
Anyway, there you go. A stunning break-in. A damned burglary. I don't know why. I don't know why that caught my fancy. I just liked it.
And he was Greek, apparently.
Oh, the
Saint Nicholas. Yeah. An early Christian bishop of Greek descent from the maritime city of Myra in Asia Minor. Oh. Modern day Turkey. All right.
Suck it. I said Turkey and I meant it.
But he's Greek descent.
He's of Greek descent. All right. Well, if you would like to teach us more about ancient geography, you can write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail. The telephone number is 424-666-8442. Stick around. There's more show coming up.
Okay, Frank. So here's the deal.
Yeah.
I don't know who Edward Zoll is, and I don't know who Jillian Christensen is, but they know who Dave Rubin is. They apparently have a show. Their show is very QAnon-y, very ultra right wing conservative, but also like hyper conspiracy theorist-y.
That's what you want.
That's the
good
what
stuff.
You live for.
Yeah,
that's the good stuff. Anyway, do you know who Dave Rubin is?
Dave Rubin. Remind me the name.
He's also a right wing dude.
Okay.
He has a show called The Rubin Report that I think is on Blaze TV.
Oh, he's big. Okay.
Yeah, there's a picture of him with the president. Just if you look him up and whatever.
I wonder which president.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not the current one. Not the current one. The last guy. Anywho, Rubin is gay. and has tried to thread that needle of right-wing conservatism, but everybody being okay with him being gay. But he and his partner or husband recently decided to adopt a child.
Oh, no. Where is this going?
The conservative sphere fucking turned on him like hyenas. So this is just, and it also, it turned into a wonderful opportunity for everyone to show just how much they actually hate gay people.
Oh, excellent.
So here's Edward Zoll and Jillian Christensen to teach us a little more about that.
Satan is so smart, right? He has this ability to infiltrate everything that is good and completely crush it. He's like a Death Eater from Harry Potter. He's just crushing all of the lightness and turning everything cold and dark. That's what Satan loves to do. And for instance, the conservative movement is not pro-gay marriage. We are not pro-abortion. We are not pro-secularism and worldly practice. We are pro-Christian values. And what Dave Rubin posted is, in my eyes, the most evil thing that you could ever do.
If you adopt the doctrine of the devil, what does that make you?
A demon.
A Satanist, right?
Absolutely a demon.
These are the basic understandings that we have to come to, because the notion that everyone is just a conservative and hey, we're all going to be yoked together. I can't be yoked with people who are taking kids for surrogates and trying to make this the neo-nuclear family model. Yeah. No, you guys are like the spiritual version of neo-Nazis, right? You're trying to destroy God's union, okay? So I think that it would be fair to ban all gay couples for adoption. That might be.
I say just ban all gay people.
Okay.
Ban all the gay people, Frank. It's
that's
the final solution. I love that
they don't even know what they're saying. They're so just dumb.
They're so dumb. But literally, like, they're calling other people Nazis. In the same, and then like literally seconds later saying ban all gay people. That is a brilliant bit of ignorance right there.
Oh, golly gee.
And that was the nice clip that I found about Dave Rubin. There was another clip that was not these guys, a totally different guy singing, strumming his guitar and using horrible slurs about Dave Rubin, just gleefully singing along. So.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's great. I guess Dave Rubin just found out where he really stands with conservatives.
Yeah, probably.
You know, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
For a gay man to actually
like
finally be aware of that fact.
They were just tolerating you while you were useful to them.
Exactly.
That's all they were doing.
Yep. That's it.
Well, Frank, we had some folks write into us, so we'll just get to that. Carrie wrote into us to say, hi, former Catholic and 12-year attendee of Catholic schools in the state of Utah. We were truly strangers in a strange land. Frank, you'll recall that we talked about saints last week. We talked about the fascinating world of people talking to and kind of quasi-worshipping saints. Anyway, Carrie goes on to say, so it's hard to explain the sheer obsession Catholics have with saints, and it's understandable that they often get accused of idol worshipping. For starters, as a Catholic, you have to have a saint's name. I'm not sure where this rule is written, but my grandparents on both sides were not quiet over their dismay that my first name wasn't a saint's name.
Oh my God.
They didn't think the middle name being Anne was good enough. And it was bad enough that my dad had to tell people when he introduced me as Carrie that it was the Irish nickname for Catherine. I have no idea if that's true. My dad was a master bullshitter. And Carrie, I looked it up. No, that is not true at all. Carrie is not short for Catherine. It is to do with the county, with Carrie and anyway. Or it has a common origin. Anyway, Carrie says, and And then you go through confirmation at 13 or 14. You pick a saint's name to be added to yours. This is the saint you like the most, and you pray to them for guidance during this time.
Oh.
Yeah. She also had a whole thing about All Saints Day being a great holiday because you didn't have to go to school the day after Halloween, so you could stay up all night.
Oh. We
That
got
is an
robbed.
advantage.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm jealous.
Anyway, Samaya, I'm hoping I'm saying it close to right, wrote into us. Samaya says, "Hi, Frank and Dan. First, I love your show. It's a big part of my deprogramming from Islam."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law has said to us that we were basically raised in the damn Taliban. He's right. Wow. That's almost as bad as being a Muslim or a Mormon. I would say. No, nothing from you, Frank?
Yes.
Neither is good. We're going to just say both Mormonism and Islam.
I thought Taliban. You were comparing Mormonism to the Taliban.
I mean...
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
So I'm glad this got clarified.
Maybe not as bad as the Taliban. But like, isn't it though? Have you read about Ammon Bundy? I don't know.
Oh, I know.
Anyway, Samaya says, "I wanted to write to you about this episode." This is our last episode. In particular, since there are so many things I can relate to. Everything from women being hurt more by sharing that they are an atheist to Christians seeing themselves as fucking righteous. You recall that there was that whole internal survey that basically saw Christians seeing themselves as the best people on earth and the rest of us going, "No, you're not." Anyway, she goes on, "My daughter is 12 and I'm raising her sans religion. I live in an uber-religious conservative town, the kind of town with Trump flags and a church on every corner. She's open about not having any religion and that we're atheist. One time she said she was atheist and the kids said, 'You're going to hell.' My kid said, 'We don't know if there is one. Nobody's come back to tell us.' This had me cracking up, but I was proud of her."
That's good.
That's a good one. Yeah. Then there's the fact that the moms, some of those little girls don't even really talk to me because I came out and said that I didn't believe in any of it.
Right.
As a single parent, it's necessary for me to rely on help from parents in the same community. But when I asked the Catholic mom if she could pick my daughter up from school because I was having surgery, crickets.
Whoa.
That's some bullshit right there.
There's
a kid that needs to be picked up from school. Who cares about what religion people are? You can help pick a kid up from school.
What amazes me is how people fail to see the opportunity. They're so judgmental, right? That they fail to see the opportunity to be like self-righteous, right? Like,
right?
Like she could have been like, "Oh, I'm a good Christian. I'm going to show her." Right.
Yeah, she could have gone back to church the next Sunday and been like, "You know what I did? I chose to help that lady. I know that she's a Satan worshiper. I know she's evil as shit, but I decided that I was going to follow the Jesus path and help that little girl get home."
No, but instead she was just judgy.
Just judgy. That's the true legacy of Jesus.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. Samaya says, "The internal survey just goes to show how overinflated Christians think their goodness is. They indoctrinate their kids with the same prejudices and fill the world with narrow thinking." Yep.
Amen.
I'm not arguing.
Yep.
Well, Frank, I am going to start off our donors this week.
Ooh.
The thanks need to begin rolling, and we'll start with Lee, who we're going to give the priesthood. You are, Lee, a priest now.
Fantastic.
You have magic priest powers, Lee. Amazing. Thank you so much for your donation.
And we have 2 new patrons on Patreon. We have Joel, who's a new teacher.
Ooh.
And we have the Dodges, who are Prophet Seers and Revelators as a duo.
Amazing. What? You have to split the powers. One of you is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the other is Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then you can share. You can both have it on Sunday.
Yeah. And if you'd like to join these kind folk, you can do so by going to our website, thankgodimatheist.com, and clicking on the support tab. And then there's options. You can go the PayPal route or over to Patreon. Yeah. And as always, Dan, we have our top donor to thank, our Lord and Savior, Austin! Stick around. There's more show coming up. Dan?
Yes.
Do you have the same misfortune in your life of knowing who Lindsey Graham is as I do? As so many of us in this country do.
I know who Lindsey Graham. I don't know him as intimately as, say, the male escort community of Washington, D.C., but I know who he is.
We refer to him as Lady G. He's the grandstanding Republican senator from South Carolina who hated Trump, then loved Trump. Hated him, right? And then loved him again? I can't remember.
I mean, talked shit about him until he was the nominee, and then was like, he's a great man, blah, blah, blah.
He is literally one of the most politically opportunistic folks around.
He is an utter shitburger. Yeah. He is a turd of the highest order.
And grandstanding doesn't even start to really describe what he does, especially as a member of the Judicial Committee in the U.S. Senate, where they were holding hearings this last week for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, who's the Biden's nominee to go on to the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
and these things have completely devolved. These hearings, especially Supreme Court judicial, like these hearings.
It is embarrassing.
They're awful.
I don't feel like we're a real country at this point. Like we've lost respectable country status at this point.
I mean, this hearing, honestly, because we already know the outcome, like these nominees, they are carted around to all of the senators' offices for weeks who want to talk to the nominee, right? All the senators get this one-on-one time to ask their questions, to get a sense of who this person is and what their beliefs are and their judicial philosophy, whatever, right? And so they already know these hearings are literally just political theater. And they let them go on. This went on for 22 hours, split over 2 days.
Only 2 days. 22 hours in 2 days is a nightmare.
It's awful. And she is sitting there and has to endure the lectures and gotcha questioning strategies of some pretty good at it assholes and some not so good at it dimwits who there was one person asking her questions, trying to get her. And I was just like, oh, isn't that cute?
You're out of your depth, son. That's a Harvard grad there. Your time at Boise State or whatever is not going to stack up. Boise State's a fine school. I couldn't think of a good bad school.
But the reason that this is relevant to the show today is because one Mr. Lindsey Graham decided to grill Ketanji Brown Jackson about her faith. Yeah. And amongst the nasty things that he said, because he sort of started off, he was airing grievances about the treatment of Amy Coney Barrett and other conservative judges, and sort of saying that the way that like conservative nominees are treated as weirdos if they are religious, right? But Democrats are not, right? treated as weirdos for their belief. Well, I'm sorry if you're Amy Coney Barrett or what's that other Kavanaugh or whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're probably a fucking weirdo and you scare me.
Yeah.
Right?
Amy Coney Barrett's a member of like a Catholic like subcult.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
Isn't she like Opus Dei or something like that?
It's cuckoo bananas. It's not even as good as Opus Dei. It's like this like back room. We meet after church to be even churchier.
Ugh.
Like group.
I
of
didn't
people.
get enough church during mass.
All them priests are pussies about it. We want to get more. We want to get more right wing and more Christian-y about it.
Well, anyway, I guess I'm taking to referring to Ketanji Brown Jackson as I like it when our political and top government officials are called by their initials, right? So KBJ. Okay. I like it. There's something fun about calling something KBJ.
Okay.
I heard it the other day and I'm like, I'm on board with KBJ.
All right.
He was asking about her religion. She describes herself as a non-denominational Protestant. And he says, could you fairly judge a Catholic? And then he asked her how important her faith was to her, and to rate her faithfulness in terms of religion on a scale of 1 to 10. And she goes, I am reluctant to talk about my faith in this way. Yeah. Right. But
wait, I want to point out that after he asks her how faithful she is on a scale of 1 to 10, he then says, you know, I go to church probably 3 times a year, so that speaks poorly of me.
But I'm here to judge you.
What the fuck are you talking about, Graham? If you don't, like, you don't get to judge her on her church attendance if you're like openly a bullshit Christian.
Well, but he is allowing other more faithful Christians the opportunity to judge her.
Right.
Like asking the question.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And
she did at one point during his tirade bring up the fact that like, there's no religious test. Like the Constitution specifically says you can't have a religious test for these offices. And he was like, no, I would never do that. But let me go on with question number 530 about your faith.
Of course there's a religious test.
Yeah.
Of course.
Imagine
if she had said, I'm atheist, right?
Yeah. Or Muslim.
Or Muslim. Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Like, literally every president knows those are off the table. Mm-hmm. Like you and I, regardless of, obviously we're not qualified, but, Kavanaugh
speak
made
for
it
yourself.
But there's no way that Andrew from Opening Arguments could never be considered for a Supreme Court, at least not in the current climate. Right. Even though like non-religious people are 30% of the country now?
Right. No, it's not how our politics shake out at the moment.
Yeah.
We still have, Lindsey Graham guaranteed the man doesn't believe in God.
Oh no, there's no chance. There's no chance you could get him to say that. But there's no chance that he thinks that he's accountable to anything past his own face.
Right. Yeah. These are not he has not lived his life as somebody who believes in any kind of, consequence after death.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. It's just so sad. It's just, the fact is that like, I am uncomfortable with, as we've seen from our current lineup of Supreme Court justices, religion is pretty fucking poisonous. They make bad legal calls based on the dogma that they've been, indoctrinated into. So I'm uncomfortable. I think it is a valid thing to be uncomfortable with religiosity in a judge.
Yeah.
At least
these are people who are supposed to be impartial.
At least Jackson was able to say things like, she said, quote, "It's very important to set aside one's personal views about things in the role of a judge."
Yeah.
And she said that in the context of a discussion about faith. That's important. Yeah. I'm glad she thinks that way. I'm still uncomfortable with the fact that she's very religious. She seems to be she doesn't want to talk about it, and I appreciate that, but like, she talked about faith a lot. She talked about her faith when they announced her. She talked about it, like, she's talking about it quite a bit. And even that much, even her, she's very clearly going to be much better than these other people, but I just hate it. I hate that there is this, that these people who are in charge of things that affect all of our lives believe in a magic daddy in the sky who will get mad at them if they do it wrong. How is it possible that doesn't cloud their judgment?
I don't know. It obviously does. I do believe that some people are capable of setting it aside more than others, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. Like, there are obviously those who are just better at it. But yeah, the really religious ones are scary.
Well, and literally what should be asked of them, Lindsey Graham notwithstanding, is, do you believe that you can actually, interpret the laws of this land while ignoring the laws of a land 2,000 plus years ago?
Yeah.
In the Bronze Age, before humans had, we've learned a thing or two since then.
No kidding. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they should be asking, where do you find, your moral, where is your moral compass, right? Yeah. Where did your moral compass come from? What are the sources of your morality, of your ethics, right?
And
that would be an interesting question.
Ethics much more than morality, because
morality gets twisted into something else. But anyway, yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that their job is just to interpret laws.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even have to be moral. It just has to be ethical. You know what I mean? Like, the morality comes in the creation of the laws.
Okay.
I don't know. That's just now I'm just talking out of my ass. Maybe that's a running theory. You guys can debate that hotly in the members only lounge if you want to. Anyway, there you go. Hopefully she will be a member of the SCOTUS soon. And then everybody pray for the infection that Clarence Thomas has.
What's the MRSA? What's the bad one?
Yeah, MRSA's not good.
Yeah.
C. diff, whatever it is. Let's just hope that it takes him. Anyway, I'm not very nice. That's true.
Oh, damn. All right.
I'm confident that none of his family is listening to the show, so we're all right. All right, friends. Well, if you would like to comment on this or any of the things we've spoken on today on the show, or just anything in general, feel free to write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click the like button, just for fun.
And if you'd like to join one of our members only lounges, you can do so by going to our website, thankgodimatheist.com/members only.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their fine music.
And thanks to Gordon Johnston for the use of his music.
And thanks to all of you for tuning in. We sure do appreciate you.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.